Hey, what's good? I'm Zach. I'm a graphic designer and aspiring UI UX designer for video games. Today, I want to try and quickly analyze the game user interface and user experience design, or UI UX, in Mortal Kombat 11. Since I've been playing a shit ton of this game, I thought this would be a great place to start. So, I recorded different menu screens and some gameplay on my PS4 Pro. This analysis is based on my personal experience with MK11. So, let's go ahead and dive in. So what I've done is I have the recording here on QuickTime, and I'm just gonna play it and just kind of walk through all the different UI and UX of the game, all the good and the bad stuff that I noticed. So I'll likely be just playing, pausing, scrubbing through the game. So this shouldn't take too long. Um, right. So we have the splash screen here. Press the X button. Alright, so let me pause this right here. Alright, so this is pretty simple. I've been playing this game for a long time, but I mean, these four different cards right here: conquer, fight, customize, learn. Nothing else. I mean, there are a few other elements on the screen, but from the jump, just from the very first, like when you dive into Mortal Kombat 11, this feels like Mortal Kombat just based on the visuals, like the colors. You've got the gold trim you know, that's recognizable. MK has that recognizable yellow. This is more like a gold. Um, I like that it has like a polished grit to it. Like it's really nice and clean, but also looks like you're about, it has that feel like you're going to go into battle. I think that's what this game does very well. Another thing that I like is, first of all, when you scroll through the different cards, it's buttery smooth. I mean, a lot of the animations in this game, you don't really have to wait too long when you're in the menus. Just moving around, it's buttery smooth. And I like the little blue dust. Um, could use this cool thing that I have here. There's a little bit of dust right here that's coming off these cars as you're moving through each one. And now that I've thought about it a little bit, I thought it was just like a cool little element, but it makes sense because in this game, in the story mode, the main antagonist or the villain is Chronica, and she is the controller or manipulator of time. So it kind of, at least to me, I feel like this was intentional because it has that feeling of, like the sands of time kind of, flying away as you're moving through the different cards. Like to me, that's what it feels like. And instead of, the sand looking like a beige, it's like a light blue, which is really nice. It's a nice touch. Okay, so I'm looking here. I'm taking a look at the combat card. I'm not really too interested in this stuff. I could go ahead and forward it. Combat cards, and I go through the options here. I'm definitely going to skip through that. But here, when you jump into Conquer, you can see all of the different options you have here: Story, Towers of Time, Classic Towers, and Crypt. And then here's the fight menu. Another cool thing about navigating through these different screens, and I didn't really pay attention to this in the beginning, but up top here, let me see if I could change this. So up here is it's these are your tabs. So if you're on a web browser, it's similar to tabs. So when you jump into a menu, jump into customize, instead of having to back out with circle, you could just press L1 or R1 to navigate through the different screens. So I didn't really pay too much attention to it when I first started playing, because I'm so used to just going into a menu and then pressing circle to back out to go find something else. Like if I made a mistake, it's a little time saver. Like it definitely saves some time, and it doesn't take that long to get used to. See that butter? Even when you go from customize to learn, that animation is, it just swoops in from right to left. It's buttery smooth. I love that shit. Like to Conquer. This is the story mode, which was a lot of fun. And this is the mode that I play the most, is Towers of Time. So there's a lot of shit going on in the Towers of Time, but and it's kind of overwhelming at first because you don't know what to play when you're jumping into all of these different towers. But it makes the game fun. It gives you a lot of different options. It shakes things up, um, which is why I've been playing this game like nonstop for the past 5 6 months. It's really fun. Okay, let's scrub through this. Okay, so when you step into, like, say, here we go. So I'm stepping into one of these towers. Which one am I gonna do here? I don't want to scrub too much. There we go. So it's Will to Power Tower. So the one of the bad things I'll say, or at least the thing that kind of annoyed me the most, was there is so much going on this screen. When you first start playing the game, you have no fucking idea what all of these different elements are within this game. Um, Starting up here, you have the name of this tower set, I guess. Yeah, this the name of this tower, the different towers that you have to complete in order to get all your rewards. You have all your rewards here. This is the particular tower contest of might. So in this tower, you have three opponents. It's the difficulty's easy, and you have to use an AI fighter. So it's kind of your constraints when you're going in. So it's letting you know that this is what's going to happen when you go into this tower. Um, Here are your performance rewards and also completion rewards. So in Mortal Kombat 11, there's a lot of rewards in this game, and it keeps you playing because you're always constantly earning shit. But my problem with this screen is that I don't really give a shit about performance rewards and completion rewards, especially if you've been playing the game for a long time. A lot of this stuff doesn't really matter anymore. So what matters to me is the objective rewards, and it doesn't show it on the screen, but I care more about skins for different characters that you could earn, and also different fatalities that are unlocked, and also different weapon rewards. So different all the gear that you have, you could earn rewards for that. So that's really what I care about. I don't really care about these things. I don't know anyone else who's playing if they really care about all this stuff. It just seems like overload. Um, I would, if it were me, I would just remove this, or and I would remove this too. I would take that out, and I feel like if it would make more sense to put the current tower that I'm on the left side, and putting platform tower objectives here on the right. So just kind of switching it. which makes sense to me. And I know why, this space is left open, or this space is left open here up top, because the towers could get big where you're going to have to fight like 8 to 10 different opponents. So I know why that's empty. And then there's also this stuff here at the bottom. There's some stuff here at the bottom, which, I don't really access too often. But again, this Towers of Time page is just super busy for me. I feel like they could minimize it. It's not like a deal breaker. It's just noisy. And the game already is kind of busy with a lot of information on the screen while you're playing. So I feel like they could have just minimized that. Keep going. So when I... Okay, let me forward this. Okay, so here it is. Let me make this like this. So right there on the left, I'll highlight this. I have to go back and forth between these two different applications. So right here on the left, objective rewards. It was a larger box like this one, this completion rewards. I like that you're able to minimize that, so you could just see the icons rather than seeing the icons and the text, because I could see based on that, just the icons themselves, that this is going to be a skin, this is going to be a gear reward. These are gear rewards right here, and I actually don't know what that is, but and then you could see once you maximize it what it looks like right here. So this is actually a brutality. I see. So gear, and this is of course a skin. Now that could have easily been implemented here on the right side with these two different rewards that I don't know how many people really give a crap about. So either take it away or minimize it. I feel like it'd make this screen look a lot cleaner. Another thing, and I haven't played Mortal Kombat for, prior to this game, I have not played Mortal Kombat for at least 10 years. I feel like the last MK I played was MK3 or 4. And now I don't even think that was on the console. I probably played it in the arcade or something. So it's been a minute. So I don't know when they started adding consumables, but all of this stuff here, all of this stuff right here is your inventory of consumables. So you could use these in a match to help even things out within the game. So I mean, some of these things, like the one that I like to use a lot, well, it's not on the screen, but for instance, you could have like a defensive shield that's impenetrable for a certain amount of hits, or you could have different players come and help you during a match. So a lot of these consumables are added to the game to help shake things up, because the enemies will also have access to consumables in some of the different towers that you play. So, and there's a lot of them. There's probably like the 50 plus different consumables that you could use. But in this particular screen, you're just seeing what you have. You can't really use anything yet. Okay. All right, so here's the character screen. Another thing about this game is there are a ton of characters, and there are a lot of characters that you have to, I mean, at least the ones that you want to play, you have to learn their moves. So there's a lot of things to remember when you're playing this game. Like in each match, you have to remember a ton of their basic moves, their combos, their fatalities, brutalities, friendships. There are a lot of things to remember in this game. So that's why I think even simply just on a menu screen, just kind of reducing the information overload would be helpful. So it's like one or two or three less things that I have to think about when I'm in a match trying to beat my opponent. Or it could just be that I have a shitty memory and it's just hard for me to remember all their moves. I'll just scrub through this. So lately I've been playing with Jackie Briggs. She's a lot of fun. Okay, so this is the inventory screen. So before you jump into a match, this is where you could choose your different consumables. So here and here, like all this stuff you could choose, just to have for a single fight, or you could use it for the entire tower. Everything on this menu screen is fairly clear. Now, another thing that I don't like, when I first started playing this game, I was playing on a PlayStation 5, and my PlayStation 5 is in the living room on a 65-inch screen, and the couch is set kind of far back. So it's really hard to read these this text and the icons. It's really hard to read from that far. Like I have to kind of squint to see what this shit is. You get a sense of what this is: whole fight, single fight. But stuff like this, like when you're selecting a consumable and you have this text here that's really small, and you know right now I'm on my 27-inch iMac, and it's still like, wow, like I could read this, but imagine being kind of far away from the TV and trying to read what the fuck it is. So when I was first playing Mortal Kombat 11, I didn't even use consumables because I didn't even know what it was. And then my enemy started using it, and I'm like, all right, well, I need to even the playing field. So it kind of forced me to jump into this menu to see what everything was about. But even still, I don't know what everything does because there's so much of it. Now, with that in mind, with the small text, small icons that are hard to read in some cases, especially when you're far away from your TV, I understand now thinking about it that this game was made for players who play on a computer monitor. This game is huge for tournaments, and a lot of the players are playing in front of a screen. Their face is not very far from the screen, so everything is legible and clear. So I totally understand why the designers made the menu screens the way they did, is because they know that most players are going to be playing in front of a screen. So that's understandable, but it's still kind of annoying. For me, at least. Not anymore, because I play this game in front of a screen now. So another thing, and I'm going to have to get rid of this. So before I jump in here, I'm going to cancel this, play. I'm on a PlayStation 4 Pro, and the big thing that I noticed was the load times. Before going into a match, a PS4 Pro, it takes up to 15 seconds to load. On PlayStation 5, it's well under 5 seconds. So it's lightning fast on a PlayStation 5. But on a PS4 Pro, it's slow. I mean, it's slower. It's kind of annoying, and you notice it right away, especially when you're transitioning from a next gen console. But it's slow. It's kind of annoying, but it's not a deal breaker. It's definitely slower though. And slow ass load times can mess up your experience in a game.
Here to fight her battles?
Here to finish what she started. Round one, fight.
Yeah, so like in a lot of fighting games, especially these days, there are a lot of elements on a fighting screen. We have the health bars, timers, the player icon, their name, and also a cool thing that you could do is you could customize the name of your character. So Jackie Briggs is Queen Bee. This is the consumable that the opponent is using. So this is Johnny Cage. So he could, have him come in and help out during the fight. A lot of the actions that you do, whether they're combos or, if you get the first hit off, they'll pop up, little icons will pop up right here. This is your defensive gauges and offensive gauges. Let me see if I can switch back. There we go. And right there at the bottom is the Dragon Challenge. So that's like at least one time you could choose to play the Dragon Challenge during a match. And that, looking at that now, that freaking box is huge on the bottom. Oof. How do I switch back? This is pretty big.
Round 2, fight.
It'd be nice if I could, I don't know. I don't know if we could disable the Dragon Challenge, but sometimes this is annoying. Now I don't even really pay attention to it. I kind of ignore it, but it takes up a good portion of the screen during the fight. It's like, covering like their feet and probably their knees, maybe close to their knees. Yeah, I would love to disable this. I mean, I think that would help during the fighting experience, because it could be distracting. I'm like, oh, I have a Dragon Challenge. What should I do? It's too late. I just got fucking beat up. I don't know. It's not that bad. Dope brutality right there.
Jackie Briggs wins.
Alright, so you have the end of match screen here. And these are the rewards that you earned. It'll cycle through all the different points that you earned for the gear. This is each piece of gear here that she has. These are the coins. These are souls, which is another form of currency, and also hearts. So it shows you the total amount that you have. And of course, this is the combat card, which you could customize the image and the background of this card. And this shows you here the overall rank or level that I'm at right now, 56. And the toggle details is the screen where you could see all the points you earned during the match. So even in the post-match, there's a lot of information that you could cycle through, but now that I've been playing it so much, I don't even know if I care a lot about it. And if I look closely now, there are little tiny icons right here, these 3 little jewels underneath each piece of gear. You could upgrade your gear with 3 different things that help your gear or give you a little bit more power or defense. I didn't notice this for a long time, but you could fill up each one of these, but like the more that you use the gear, the more matches that you fight in, you're able to add more of these upgrades for each piece of gear. This type of thing is like, I don't know how much that matters if it's on the screen at the end of a match, but I get it. You want to keep playing these games because you want to feel like you've won. Even when you've lost, you could still earn coins. There are still ways to earn souls and even hearts when you lose. I think hearts, but I understand the reason why a lot of these end of round screens pop up, because you want to feel like you've been rewarded for your hard work during the match. And Mortal Kombat 11 does, actually Mortal Kombat in general does that very well, making you feel that way. So again, there's a long loading screen. I'm gonna scrub through this. Okay, so when you're done with a tower, this is the screen that you get. So this is for this particular tower infiltration unit, and That's everything you've earned. Match results, performance extras, performance rewards. It's a lot. It's like a balance sheet when you're looking at it. But it's not really too overwhelming, but it gives you a sense that you did shit. And if you didn't get these performance rewards, then you're thinking the next tower. Well, I'm thinking in the next tower, I need to do a better job of getting, these 30, soul fragments and 3 hearts. Like, it gives you an incentive to, to play a little bit harder, or in this case, get another fatality, or use another friendship so you could get these extra points and maybe not lose. Well, I didn't lose here, so you get 15,000 points, but that's what's great about this particular screen, is that you're either satisfied with your performance, and if you're not, it gives you incentive to keep pushing on, or it gives you incentive to work harder the next time around.
Jackie.
And also another thing too, it's gonna show your character rewards or player rewards. So that sound right there is, you kind of ignore it for a while, but then, I mean, look at that, or listen to that. I mean, it's really, it has that casino kind of gambling, coins, money falling, vibe to it. Excuse me. Look at it. A nice bright gold flash, and you could see the different rewards that you've earned. It's just like when you open up a loot box, or different crates in a game, like that feeling like you've been rewarded for your work. It feels like it paid off.
Jackie Briggs.
So another thing during the match that is going on, not even just like everything that's in front of you as far as the UI goes, but during the match there are a lot of different sounds, and I'm going to try and turn this audio up here. There are a lot of different sounds that are indicators to certain things within the game, that are going on within the game. So I'll forward it here. And this helps in a lot of ways with the experience, because then if you're cognizant excuse me, if you're cognizant of a lot of things that are going on within the game, then you're going to notice these different sounds that happen that help you know what's going on.
Get some.
Oh, you can't see it. Okay, so
Get some.
all right, so I used a piece of my special move offensive bar. So it emptied out. Switching is it emptied out right here. Okay. So I know I used it, so I don't need feedback for that, but when you go further into the match, so I'm not going to be staring at this bar the whole time to see when it's going to fill back up so I can use it again. So there's that little feedback sound that it filled up, that little ding. You hear that? I'll rewind it again. See that little ping? That's me knowing, like, if I'm paying attention, like, oh, I have my gauge back, so I could use it. I could use it twice now. And also the defensive gauge now has been used up by me. So you're gonna hear it again coming up soon. There it is. So that filled up. Now that other sound from the Joker was his health is at a point where he could use, I mean, it's really low, And when your health gets to a certain point, and when it gets that low, you could use a fatal blow. If you're so immersed within you're in the fight and you're not really paying attention to your health bar, because this game moves fast. A lot of combos happen quickly. So paying attention to that sound, and I spoke over it, but so that ding ding, that lets, I mean, obviously not let, it lets you know if that's you, that you could use your fatal blow, and you don't have to be looking up at the menu at your health bar to see where you're at. Ding ding, so a little ding ding, and it happens at this point right here is when you could use your fatal blow, and you could only use it once per match, but it'll let you know. It'll go ding ding, and if you're paying attention, then you're like, all right, it's time to use my fatal blow. So all of these little sound indicators throughout the game help the experience, the total experience, so you could stay immersed in the fighting. What else is there? Okay, scroll through that. Keep going here. I think there's, okay, so here's another great thing about the UI and UX. It's more of a UI thing, but I don't know when you could do this before, because again, I haven't played Mortal Kombat for a long time, but I know that there are a lot of moves that I still don't remember when I'm fighting. So I need to be reminded. So in this game, you could tag the different combos that you want to be displayed during the match, which is always, always, always helpful. So that's right here. Super helpful. I mean, it's cooler if you can remember all the moves, but I'm playing with so many different characters, it's not like I can't remember everyone's moves all the time. So you could add them here, which is a great addition to this game. I fucking love it. It doesn't, it doesn't get in the way of the fighting. I can really look past all that. I could look. It doesn't really disturb what I'm doing in a fight. Another thing too. So another thing that you could do in this game is you could use environmental. You could use the environment. You could interact with the environment. You could use different objects in the environment to throw at the opponent, stab, swing, whatever. And it lets you know that in a very subtle way. So these objects that you could use, they shimmer a little bit when you walk past them. So there it is. There's a little highlight, a little flash. Say, hey, you could use me to fuck your opponent up. See that on the left? There's a flashing right there. Right here, this bookcase. I could use that if I wanted to. It takes up a defensive gauge. I shouldn't use that one. It takes up a defensive bar, but I could still use it if I wanted to, because if I was cornered, I could use it to jump out of the corner and onto the other side. Now, I just figured out that in the options menu, you could activate it so that if you're near something you can interact with in the environment, there's a ping or a little sound that lets you know that you could use it. So that's another cool thing about that. But in most cases, especially now, I know what different objects I could use in the environment. Okay, forward through. It's also something very subtle. Oh. It's very quick. Whoops. There's the loading the saving. It's the saving icon. It just shows you real quick that your progress was saved. I like seeing that. I don't like it stuck there in the corner forever, but I like seeing it, knowing that what I accomplished was saved in the cloud or on the PlayStation. I'm wondering what else there is. See, look at this. I mean, stuff like this, it's not a huge deal, but it's still like, God, look how small these icons are. You know? I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. You can see it up here, and it's gonna show up in the match on the top left. But again, these are just little. These are little rewards. Like, these don't unlock until you've played a certain amount of time, or you've hit different goals. I don't know. They unlock eventually, but it takes a lot of time because there's so many of them. But it still gives you an incentive to keep playing. And here is where you could customize. You could customize your character, gear, outfits. You could add the different intros and victories, abilities. There's so many reasons why you want to keep playing this game if you're interested in earning rewards. So see all the different outfits, different skins. That's what I enjoy the most. See, this is not all these different intros aren't unlocked, but you can see what they look like. That's dope. So without realizing it, I did talk for a good amount of time, but this game is just so much fun. I think the look and feel of this game, like you are immersed. I'm immersed in this game every time I jump in. I feel like it's, I got to get myself ready for battle. And even when I lose, and I fucking lose a lot, I get pissed initially, but then I want to keep playing this game because there's so many rewards that you could earn in a lot of these different modes. And I didn't even touch on online shit because I don't really play online. But Towers of Time is where I spend most of my time, and it's a crap ton of fun. Other areas where it could have been improvement is obviously minimizing some of the cognitive load on the Towers of Time screen. There's a lot of information that I just don't think most players would care about, especially before you even hop into a tower. It's like, who gives a crap? But other than that, I mean, I think the designers did a great job visually with this game. So that's really all. Oh, Rocky. That's really all I have. Try to keep this as informal as possible, and I hope to do other more videos like this because I am playing a lot of video games. So that's all I got. This is Zach, and I'm out. Peace.